It is my singular honor to close this wonderful session by talking about a connector of generations, a connector of the world, as well as a connector of space, which is coffee. So I'm going to be talking about increasing adoption of climate-smart agricultural techniques by smallholder coffee farmers in eastern Zimbabwe, and I am Abel Chemura. If I ask you how many of us have had coffee today, I know you will all raise your hands, so I won't ask. This is because coffee means different things to different people. To a student at William and Mary College, they drink coffee as one of those beverages that help them to study. To a grandmother at a hospice, coffee is also important. To an executive in Wall Street, coffee is also important. But to a smallholder farmer in Zimbabwe, coffee may be even more important because it is that crop that provides them livelihoods. It brings food to the table, it provides education for the kids, it provides money that is used for healthcare as well as other services. And this farmer I'm talking about is one of the 5,000 smallholder coffee farmers that we have in Zimbabwe. And collectively we have about 7 million coffee farmers in Africa. And the whole world, the number is 25 million. And these 25 million smallholder coffee farmers are looking and taking care of about 3 billion coffee trees in the whole world. And because of this, coffee is the second most exported commodity in developing countries after oil. And because of this export, we have about 2 billion cups of coffee that people drink the whole world over and contributes about 20 million to the economies of developing countries. I therefore don't need to overemphasize the importance of coffee from the producer perspective as well as from the consumer perspective. However, if we go back to look at Africa, there are problems or there are challenges in terms of coffee production that are basically occurring. Because if you look at African figures, coffee production is going down. And if you look at Zimbabwe, the coffee production figures is also going down. And why is it so? It is because of the new generation of problems that we are facing currently. And some of these, we have new pests and diseases, we have water stress problems, and the plants are dying. And this means that the sector is no longer as lucrative as it is supposed to be. So, regardless of these problems, there are efforts in order to solve many of the challenges that are associated with climate change in coffee production systems. One of them is technology. How can we develop better technologies to help the farmers? Where we provide a basket of options. We provide drip irrigation kits. Can we do with better crop varieties? Can we look at how we can implement crop protection methods as many individual options that can be put on the table? Another option is basically looking at management principles. How can we improve the management principles of the different farmers? How can they improve so that they can increase their productivity to get more yields? And the third one is to provide incentives, particularly financial incentives to the coffee farmers who are doing well, so that the other farmers can also copy from the good farmers that are showing signs of sustainability. However, the big challenge is that these methods are not working. There's a very slow uptake of climate-smart agriculture within the smallholder coffee farmers in Zimbabwe. And what does that mean? It means that the farmer in Zimbabwe will not be able to sustainably send their kids to school, will not be able to provide food on the table. They won't be able to have money for healthcare when they basically need it. So that's from the producer side. But what does it mean also to the consumer? It means that your coffee will become bitter because the quality is less. It also means that the price of coffee may also go up. And in the extreme of cases, with the nice technology I've seen here, one day when you go to the coffee machine, it will say, wait, there is no coffee today. However, to prevent this problem from occurring, I am suggesting a solution to basically deal with the issues within coffee. So I suggest 2 solutions that I'm going to implement in order to deal with the problem. The first one is based on field level activities, and then the second one is based on democratization of the coffee industry. In terms of the field level activities that I'm suggesting is basically based on understanding and overcoming the barriers to adaptation adoption. How can we overcome the social and the economic factors that make farmers fail to use technology, that make farmers fail to use business principles, or that make farmers fail to get benefits from the incentives for good production? And my solution to deal with that problem is basically develop an integrated triggers of change within the coffee farming systems, which is based on 3 principles: participatory technology development, diversification, as well as efficiency. And I'm looking for a solution that I will develop that is at the core of these 3 principles. That is both participatory, that is both diversified, and that is both efficient. When I talk about participatory, it means developing the technology with the farmers. When I talk about diversification, we are looking at synergistic crops that the farmers can actually grow with coffee, which does not affect coffee production or which does not affect that particular crop at that particular time. When I talk about efficiency, I'm looking at how to make farmers make more money within the system. So I'm developing a project or a model that is based on participatory technology development to produce diversified and efficient coffee farmers. And this is at a local field level. And I will jump to look at it from the global level, where I welcome your participation and inclusion in this process. I'm going to develop an application that will help to democratize the coffee industry, and I call it Coffee Connect. So if you look at Coffee Connect as an application that I'm developing, it will be able to connect the students at William and Mary to the coffee farmer in Zimbabwe through this platform, because these coffee farmers now have smartphones. They can actually take photos and share them within this platform, so that the consumer of coffee in Virginia will be able to know what the smallholder coffee farmers is doing in Zimbabwe. And within this platform, again, we can talk about the inclusion of the different coffee houses. We can talk about the coffee farm tourism, where the avid lovers of coffee will be able to visit the places where it is basically produced. And this makes a lot of sense if you consider the figures that I have talked about in terms of the amount of money and in terms of the farmers that are involved in the coffee industry. Thank you.